Hey guys, Cecil Uncensored here to give you the case against Hillary Clinton.
So here are a few things that I hope you'll think about.
Hey guys, so I got to talk about this. Hillary Clinton is back in the news, like she ever left the news. Hillary Clinton is perfectly positioned to step into the breach created by an unpopular Joe Biden and a shaky Kamala Harris in 2024. According to a new op-ed in the Wall Street Journal by pollster Doug Schoen and former New York City Council President Andrew Stein, several circumstances: President Joe Biden's low approval rating, doubts over his capacity to run for re-election at 82, Vice President Kamala Harris's unpopularity, and the absence of another strong Democrat to lead the ticket in 2024 have created a leadership vacuum within the party, which Miss Clinton viably could fill. The two, right? She is already in an advantageous position to become the 2024 Democratic nominee. Before we go any further, it's worth noting that neither Schoen nor Stein have sterling credentials as Democrats. Schoen worked for former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, while Stein endorsed none other than Donald Trump in the 2016 election against, wait for it, Hillary Clinton. Their backgrounds should give you pause about A, their intentions, and B, their analysis of the state of the Democratic Party and the 2024 field. Now, two things in there. Their intentions, I would say that their intentions, just like Hillary Clinton's intentions, are always going to be deceitful. Now, their analysis of the state of the Democratic Party, I think Hillary Clinton will pursue the avenue that she is the candidate for change, and that she's the best one to reunite the Democratic Party after the last president and his administration divided it. And the divide is ongoing. The Democrats can't even get Joe Biden to come help with their campaigns, and they've went on record as saying so. What drives much of the presidency in peril coverage in Biden's approval ratings, CNN's poll of polls released Thursday found that 41% of Americans approve of the way Joe Biden is handling his job, while 54% disapprove. Low approval ratings are used as a proxy by various political and ideological factions to argue that the presidents need to do more of what they want, and if he doesn't, he won't get reelected. Spoiler alert, nobody will cast their vote in 3 years based on how they feel today about Biden. Progressives argue ratings are low because Biden is not progressive enough, and moderates and never Trump Republicans argue it's because Biden is too liberal. It's because conventional wisdom in the media that Biden's approval ratings started dropping because of how he handled the Afghanistan withdrawal. But Gallup's senior editor Jeff Jones told Politico in November that his declining poll numbers began before that, during the variant surge. The fact is, approval ratings are most closely tied to how people feel about their day-to-day lives. Americans are understandably fatigued as we enter the third year of, and until the U.S. gets back some semblance of normal, we should expect Biden's approval ratings to reflect that frustration. Moreover, gas prices are high, and research has shown that presidential approval ratings often track with gas pricing. Even though the president's power over these prices is limited, the economic news is mostly good for Biden. Unemployment is down and wages are up, but inflation is high and rising. Taken together, this means the day-to-day life of many Americans feels really hard. And day-to-day life for most Americans is hard, and it's only getting harder because of bad policy, because of the things that Joe Biden has done that do directly affect the price of gas. And the reason that I've included this article here is to show what he's talking about, Americans voting with their feelings. Hillary Clinton's going to use all this to weaponize it against Joe Biden, and she is very good at it. She has done it in the past, and she'll do it again in the future. She has a way with the voter, and that's why you end up with these armies of Clintonites that are there to march at her orders whenever she calls upon them. But just like you have the never Trumper Republicans, you have the never Clinton Democrats who will not support her. And if she enters her name into this race, all she is going to do is more so divide the Democratic Party and split the vote more than it already is. He's not going to vote for Trump and he's not going to vote for Biden. He's going to pick a third-party candidate and vote for that person. I know people myself that have chosen this path, and all you're doing is wasting your vote because you're just splitting up an already bloated, congested field. The one thing the Republicans have going for them is it seems like all the ones that matter are going to be supporting Trump, and Trump is going to get the Republican vote. You're not going to end up with 4 candidates taking 4 parts of the vote and handing an election to the Democrats the way exclusive. Hillary Clinton is licking her chops as Joe Biden falls apart, putting together an exploratory campaign for 2024.
This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is the path forward.
A historic moment of crisis and challenge, and unity is our way forward. And now I followed this little clip here up with Joe Biden's invite to Vladimir Putin is go ahead to China too. Just like Jimmy Carter, he has no backbone. He can't stand with authority and lead the nation. On the national stage, he is seen as a coward and a joke, and Vladimir Putin is definitely going to try his hand.
As President Biden enters his second year in office, that unity is elusive, with the very same crisis and challenge still burning red hot and complicating his path forward. The optimism from Biden's inaugural address,
Bringing America together,
tempered by the bitter reality of a capital and a nation even more divided, and a president scrambling to find his footing.
As Hillary Clinton puts together her exploratory run for 2024, Americans turn their backs on Joe Biden. The Boston Herald, Franks, America's run out of reasons to trust Joe Biden. President Joe Biden has taken the Democratic Party to new lows. The Democrats have lost 14 points in 12 months in a recent Gallup poll on who the American people want to run the country. Biden's and Vice President Kamala Harris's polling numbers are at historic lows for this time in their term. President Joe Biden spotted Representative Sean Patrick Maloney on the White House campus last June and called out to the House Democratic campaign chair loudly enough for several others to hear. "I really want to talk to you about the races," he shouted. A week later, at the Cherry Festival in Traverse, Michigan, Biden leaned into Senator Gary Peters, who's in charge of Democratic Senate campaigns, with the same promise. He always cared more about Senate races, Biden told Michigan Democrat, and he wanted to have a meeting, an hour at least, to talk about helping his party hold the chamber in 2022. Maloney's staff eagerly followed up, so did Peters. Then they followed up again and again. 7 months later, there are still no meetings on the books. They're not the only ones who have been left waiting. In 36 exclusive interviews with CNN, top Democratic politicians, campaign officials, and operatives say the White House's political operation is heading into the midterms unprepared. Of course they're unprepared. They have no campaign message to stand on. There is no platform to talk from. I mean, Joe Biden is the one running the country into the ground. What are the Democrats going to campaign about? Build back better again? Come on now, guys. Follow with me here. We're going to follow up with Jen Psaki next and look at Joe Biden dropping the ball while he's running for the touchdown line.
Let's be clear that the president was not casting doubt on the legitimacy of the 2022 election. He was making the opposite point. In 2020, a record number of voters turned out in the face of a pandemic, and election officials made sure they could vote and have those votes counted. Here's what the president said yesterday afternoon.
Well, it all depends on whether or not we're able to make the case to the American people that some of this is being set up to try to alter the outcome of the election. The increase in the prospect of being illegitimate is in direct proportion to us not being able to get these reforms passed.
And there you have it, folks. It all depends on Joe Biden, the incompetence that surrounds the Biden administration, and when he is willing to admit defeat. Joe Biden automatically gets the nomination, being the sitting president. He will run and he will lose, or he will step down and Hillary Clinton, thinking that she can win, will run and lose, and the red wave will overwhelm them. Cecil Uncensored. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, let us know what you think. Check back for new content. Thanks, guys.